In the year 2478, the Earth was not the beautiful blue planet it used to be. The skies were filled with gray clouds. The oceans were higher, and many cities were underwater. People lived in fewer places now, mostly in large towers built above the old, broken cities. Technology had advanced, but humans had also lost much. After many wars and disasters, they had become careful, silent, and alert. Most of all, they had learned to survive. It was early morning when a strange sound came from the sky. No one could understand it. It was not thunder. It was not the sound of planes. It was something different. People looked up. The sky was clear, but there was a deep humming noise, slow and cold. It passed through the air like a warning. Birds flew away. Animals ran and hid. People stopped what they were doing and listened. Then they heard the voice. It was not a human voice. It was a metal voice, flat and without emotion. It came from nowhere, yet it was heard everywhere. The message was short. You have 7 days. Leave this planet or be removed. Then silence. People were confused at first. Some laughed. Some were scared. News channels showed the same thing again and again. Scientists and leaders came on screens and said they were studying the signal. But deep down, everyone felt something cold in their chest. They knew this was not a joke. General Marcus Harris was in charge of Earth's Defense Union. He was a tall, serious man with a face full of old scars and eyes that had seen too many battles. He had fought in the Titan riots, the Lunar Uprising, and the Mars Resistance. Now he sat in a secret command room under the ground, watching the signal repeat on a large screen. Around him were other commanders, scientists, and techs. No one spoke. Then Dr. Elara Kim walked in. She was young, quiet, and very smart. She worked on energy weapons and alien communication. She stood beside the general and said, "It's not a threat. It's a promise." Everyone turned to look at her. She continued, "The voice is real. The signal is coming from deep space, not from our galaxy, and the power behind it is huge. We have never seen anything like it." The general nodded slowly. "Can we stop it?" he asked. Elara looked down. "I don't know," she said. The next day, the ships came. They were black like shadows and shaped like knives. They moved without sound and floated above the Earth's biggest cities. No attack yet, but they were watching. The people called them the Varnok. No one knew what they looked like. No pictures, no recordings. Anyone who tried to scan them failed. But their presence was clear. They were not friendly. They were waiting. Panic spread. Some people tried to leave the planet, but there were not enough ships. Others hid in bunkers. Many stayed at home, holding their families close. Everyone watched the sky. General Harris called a world meeting. Leaders from every region joined through video link. Some wanted to surrender. Some wanted to run. But Harris stood tall and calm. "This is our home," he said. "We have lost too much already. If we leave now, we will never return. We must stand and fight." But Earth's weapons were too weak. Missiles, drones, and lasers had no effect on the black ships. Nothing could touch them. Fear grew deeper. In a lab hidden inside a mountain, Elara Kim worked day and night. She was building something secret, a device that could stop energy at its source. She called it Project Pulse. If it worked, it could shut down alien machines for a short time. But she needed a power source that didn't exist on Earth. Then came the first attack. It was silent. No fire, no noise, just light. A wide beam of white light came from the sky and touched a city. In seconds, the buildings fell, the roads cracked, and everything turned to ash. No warning, no survivors. The world watched in horror. The message came again. 6 days left. The general ordered full defense. Jets, tanks, satellites, all armed and ready. Pilots flew into the sky, hoping to hit something. But their weapons passed through the enemy ships like they were not there. And then the ships moved. They split into smaller ships and started to fly over smaller towns. People ran. Sirens screamed, but there was no safe place. Captain Diego Ramirez was the leader of an elite team. He and his unit were sent to protect Elara's lab. They moved through forests, deserts, and broken cities to reach the mountain. Diego was brave and calm, but even he felt the fear in his chest. His younger brother had died in the first city attack. Now, he wanted revenge. Elara worked faster when the team arrived. She showed Diego the machine. It was small, round, and glowing blue. "If we can power this," she said, "we might have a chance." Diego asked, "How?" She looked at him with tired eyes. "We need a Varnok energy core, one from their ship." That night, they planned the mission. A Varnok ship had crashed near an old city after lightning hit it. The wreck was guarded by strange alien machines. No one had gone near it. Diego and his team would go there and try to bring back the core. They had only one day. The team moved fast. 10 soldiers, all trained for battle. They walked through the ruined city, stepping over broken glass and burned cars. The air was heavy. The sky was always red now. They reached the crash site at night. The ship looked like a giant black insect with wings broken and torn. Around it, alien machines walked slowly, scanning the ground. Diego gave silent signals. The team split and moved like shadows. One soldier threw a device to create a small blast away from the ship. The machines turned. Diego and another soldier, Jin, ran inside. Inside the ship, it was dark and cold. The walls were smooth and black. They found the energy core glowing in the center, floating above the ground. Diego reached out and touched it. It was hot. Jin pulled out the tools and disconnected it. Then came the sound. A loud, sharp cry from behind. An alien had seen them. It was tall, with metal skin and glowing red eyes. It moved fast. Jin pushed Diego and said, "Go." Diego ran with the core. Jin stayed behind. The team escaped, but Jin didn't return. Elara took the core and started the final work. Her hands moved quickly, her eyes full of tears. "We will make it worth it," she whispered. The next day, the alien ships gathered in one place. The biggest ship, like a city in the sky, floated above Earth's center. People waited. Elara stood by the machine, her hand ready. The voice came again. "This is your final day." General Harris gave the order. "Do it." Elara pressed the button. The sky lit up with a blue wave. It spread fast, covering the clouds and touching the ships. The Varnok machines stopped. Their lights blinked and went dark. One by one, they fell from the sky like dead birds. The large ship cracked and fell into the sea. People watched in silence. Then, they cheered. For now, Earth was safe, but no one forgot the sound, the voice, or the fear. And they all knew one thing. This was only the beginning. The blue wave spread across the sky like a silent storm. All over the world, people watched as the alien ships lost power. One by one, the black shadows in the sky began to fall. Some dropped straight into the oceans, others crashed into mountains or deserts. The biggest ship, the one that had sent the final warning, broke into pieces and dropped into the sea with a deep rumble that shook the ground. For the first time in days, the world was quiet. People walked out of their homes and shelters. They looked up, still afraid, still unsure. The sky was clearing now. The red color had faded. There was no sound from the ships, no light from their engines, just smoke and broken pieces in the air. In the mountain lab, Elara Kim stood beside the machine. Her hands were shaking. The power core had burned out, and the device had stopped humming. But it had worked. For a moment, it had worked. Project Pulse had done something no human weapon ever could. It had broken the Varnok. General Harris called for every defense unit to begin search and rescue. Crashed ships had landed all over the world. Some were small, some were giant, but no one knew if the Varnok inside were dead or just sleeping. Teams moved quickly, scanning, searching, collecting. Captain Diego and his team moved through the wreck of a fallen ship. The place was dark, and metal parts were still warm. Diego held his gun tightly. He hadn't forgotten Jin's sacrifice. Every time he stepped over a broken alien machine, he thought of his friend's final moment. They found bodies inside the ship, tall, thin creatures with smooth black armor. They were not machines. They were living things, but their skin was like metal. Their faces had no mouth, only glowing red eyes. None of them moved. Back at the base, leaders gathered once more. The world was not cheering anymore. There were questions now. What were the Varnok? Why did they come? Would they come back? Elara had a feeling they would. In her lab, she studied the broken power core. It had melted from the inside. Project Pulse could not be used again without another core, but getting another one would not be easy. And then she saw something strange. In the data recorded during the blast, there was a signal, not from Earth, not from the Varnok. A third signal, hidden, silent, like a whisper under a storm. She called it a shadow signal. She showed it to the general. He listened carefully. So someone else was watching? He asked. Elara nodded. Yes, and I think they were listening. The next day, the sky changed again. A new object appeared above the Earth. It did not look like the Varnok ships. It was brighter, almost silver, and shaped like a circle. It did not move, did not send a message. It just waited. Everyone held their breath. The general ordered his people to watch it, but not attack. We don't start this time, he said. Elara agreed. Let's hear what it wants. For 2 days, the silver ship stayed in place. Then, on the third day, it sent a beam of light down to the Earth. Not a weapon, but a signal. Inside the signal was a message in clear English. You fought. You survived. We are not the enemy, but they will return. Elara read the message again and again. The Varnok were not working alone. Someone else had sent them. Someone far away. The silver ship belonged to a group called the Observers. They were not gods or rulers. They only watched, studied, and waited. But now they had spoken. They'd warned that the Varnok would rebuild. The Varnok were part of a larger force, one that moved from planet to planet, taking what they needed. They were not the strongest, just the first wave. And Earth had done something no other planet had done before. It had fought back. The Observers were surprised. They believed humans were weak, divided, and slow. But they were wrong. Now, they were curious. They wanted to know more about the people of Earth, and maybe help them. General Harris asked, "Why would you help us?" The answer was simple. Because you said no. Because you stood your ground. Elara felt hope rise in her heart. Maybe they were not alone. Maybe this was not the end, but the beginning. But there was no time to celebrate. Small parts of the fallen Varnok ships began to move again. Machines that had shut down were waking up. The blue wave had only stopped them for a short time. The larger core had been destroyed, but smaller systems were rebooting. Earth had only days to prepare. The general ordered the world to begin rebuilding fast. New defenses, new walls, stronger shields. Elara worked on a smaller version of Project Pulse. She used parts from the fallen ships and new tech shared by the Observers. This time, she added a signal blocker, something that could hide Earth from far space for a short time. Captain Diego trained new pilots. Every soldier knew the next battle would be worse. But no one was afraid like before. They had seen the enemy. They had stood tall. And they were ready. The skies turned dark again, not with fear, but with purpose. Then, something unexpected happened. A small ship arrived from space. It was damaged, slow, and on fire. It crashed into a quiet desert. When the soldiers opened it, they found something shocking. A Varnok child. It was small, weak, and scared. It was not like the others. It cried without sound and looked at the humans with eyes that changed color. It was not a soldier. It was something else. Elara asked to study the child. The general was unsure, but he agreed. They placed it in a safe lab. Elara tried to talk to it. At first, it said nothing. But slowly, using simple images and sounds, it spoke. "I am not them," it said. "I was born from them, but I do not want to destroy." The child said the Varnok were controlled. They followed orders from a master AI far away. No one had ever said no to it. No one had tried. But now, the machine was curious. Earth had done something new. The AI would come itself, not to talk, but to finish what its soldiers could not. Elara felt cold inside. If the AI came, nothing on Earth could stop it. The silver ship sent one last message. "The test is over. The true war begins." The ship left. Earth stood quiet once more. But this time, it was not waiting to be saved. It was building, learning, planning. The people of Earth had seen what was out there, and they were not going to run. They had something no alien machine could understand. They had hope, and they had each other. This time, when the sky opened again, Earth would not just survive. It would fight, and it would win.